Right, welcome back to another episode on Sugar Sean Who Knows Ball. And today, we've already done our centre-backs. It's on to the Premier League midfielders. We are doing the top 10 current Premier League midfielders. And today, before I introduce my guests, 60+% of you lot are not subscribed to the channel. It's like 69%. You need to subscribe to the channel. We're getting the views. Just press the subscribe button. Subscribe, comment, and like, please. It will help the channel. But yes, I'll introduce to the left of me, again, the biggest regular on the show so far.
Yes. I'm back.
Liverpool fan, Rizak.
Come on, man. Here to represent.
How you doing today?
I'm chilling, man. Yeah,
You lost your voice a bit.
yeah, Kanye, innit? Sit the money.
Oh, and over on the other side, I'll introduce Hussein first because Hussein has been on the show. But Hussein is back. How you doing, Hussein?
I'm good, thanks. How are you? You all right?
Okay, you don't need to be this. Oh, you lot, you're right. Be normal.
That's good.
We're back.
Just
good,
cool
man.
now.
I'm still pissed off of last night, man.
I know. We'll talk about it. And to the left of him, to the right of him, we have his manager. First assistant coach at Hilltop, Hussein's manager, arguably. We got man like Gap in the building.
My boy.
Gap, how you doing?
I'm excited, man.
You excited?
Yes. Very excited.
Okay. Right, so we're going to move on to the top 10 midfielders list today. And today we have had 10 people contribute to this list. I will go through them. We have a couple different representatives from different clubs. So we have Santi representing us from Man City, Dempsey representing Man United and Barcelona.
Shameless, brother.
Smelly.
Shameless, brother.
First name you said. Yeah.
Shameless.
What, Santi? Shameless.
Shameless.
I know. We're going to get Santi on this show sooner or later, but this is a man that is a Man City fan, but a couple of us...
3 years ago, he was an Arsenal fan.
3 years ago, he was an Arsenal fan, and a couple of people on this table are not happy with his actions. But yeah, Santi's our Man City fan. So yeah, don't worry, he'll be coming on to defend himself. We got Rizak, obviously, Liverpool. Gunnar is Arsenal. Me, obviously, Chelsea. Livs is Arsenal. Gap is Arsenal. Garni is Arsenal. We've got a lot of Arsenal. Hussein is Chelsea. And obviously, Ravo from Galacticos podcast. Pick up yourself. Asking for him another list again today. And he's representing Tottenham today.
Scummy.
So yes, before we get into the top 10, I will run through the list of the names that didn't make the top 10. We had 19 different midfielders for this list.
Wow.
19. And this midfielders list,
that's
we've got
alright.
6s, 8s and 10s. Midfielders are midfielders. If you're influential to your team as a midfielder, you make this list. As long as you're a midfielder, 6, 8 or 10, you make this list. So this is why I like to have it like this. This is why so many numbers are in it. I think that's why there's so many, there's 19 names, because there's so many midfielders that people respect in their positions. So we're going to go through the list and we're going to go through who didn't make the top 10. And in 19th place, we have 2 people in 19th place. But yes, we have in 19th place, we'll start off with the first name. We have John McGinn with 1 point.
I'm just curious to know who put that man in there.
Yeah, who did?
And basing these lists, I have also got the man on stage who put John McGinn in his list. And that man is sitting beside me.
I'll explain myself.
He's in 10th place for you. He got 1 point.
Yeah, John McGinn is, first of all, Aston Villa's most important midfielder, yes or no? Most important player, arguably.
No.
Douglas Luiz is shit.
The best midfielder.
When they play
in
double
that team.
pivot, when they play a double pivot, Douglas Luiz and John McGinn does all the work.
Okay,
He's a 6.
what are his best
He's an
qualities?
8. Huh?
What are his best qualities?
His best qualities.
Yeah.
He can run. I'll tell you that for free. He's got energy. He can tackle. He's got a wonder of a left foot. He can pass. He's got a shot on him. We all know he's got a strike on him.
What's the first thing the Liverpool fan said? He can run.
Yeah, well, obviously, that's the first that came to our mind.
Wait, that's it. That's what happens in that Liverpool midfield.
Exactly.
Right,
We need runners. That's what we
right.
need.
You got a lot of people in that field that just
Hey,
burning themselves out.
John
for the rest of the
McGinn
people.
arguably makes every midfield apart from Liverpool City. He's walking into Chelsea.
So where did you
He's
have
walking into Arsenal.
No, he's
no,
not.
he's not.
He's never
No,
walked
he's
against
not.
Chelsea. Really.
He's
Come
what?
on now.
You had Mount. I love this chick. Shut the fuck up. What are we talking about?
Nah, you can't have him in
He ain't
there.
making our team.
John
no way.
McGinn is a beautiful player, bro. He can pass.
He's a good player.
No, he's a good player. Yes, I agree. But not top 10.
If he comes out of that Aston Villa team, they get relegated.
I can't, like, on current form, like, obviously he had a year where he was
Amazing.
Done well. Yeah,
I loved him.
So in current, yeah, is
No,
it?
not
I
top
understand,
10, man.
but not top 10 quality.
10.
That's
Very
exactly,
good.
not
Yeah,
top
very
10
good.
I'll tell you what,
midfielder.
I had 9 solid names. Certain man I couldn't put in my list.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
I don't rate them. I need to be consistent.
We're gonna go
I
to
need to
those
be
names.
consistent.
We'll go to those names.
So I said, who do I like? I'll put John McGinn.
All right, you put John McGinn. Well, you got John McGinn.
The man with no neck.
The man with no neck.
Fuck.
Well, he got 1 point, and joint with him at 1 point. Another man on this table has got him in at 10th place with 1 point out of the 10 people, and that is Jorginho.
That's shocking.
That's me.
And that is you,
no way.
my friend.
I think that man is one of the most influential players in the whole Chelsea team.
I don't know.
Most of Chelsea's success in the last few years has all come down to him.
Him?
Like a whole
Not Kante.
He had a part to play in it, but
Not
he's
Kova.
he's the main.
Not Thiago Silva.
Kova, the dribble merchant.
Yeah, he's better than
I'm not having
Jorginho.
it.
He's
Well, I'm
better
not
than
having
George.
it.
No, but do you know what
That
it
is
is?
the DM
We're
that can't
crucial.
defend.
Let me ask you a question.
The
And you're
DM
a
that
Chelsea
can't
fan,
run.
and you're a Chelsea fan. Would you be able to play the football you play without him?
I don't think we could have.
No.
personally.
So how could you not have him in there?
I think he's very influential, but I don't know
Only
if
with Kante.
Jorginho enough is like with Jorginho. I think he's a great player built with certain players around him. He's not individually gonna be able to go into teams and boss certain teams with certain. You need someone beside him
every
that
player
can
like
run.
that needs those type of players around them.
Yeah, they do.
Busquets
They-
or Thiago Mata in the past.
No,
He's a system player.
He's a system player.
Yeah,
he is a
system
system player, but
But he
he's
plays it
got
well.
very good qualities. But I just think with him, like, don't get me wrong, like I had him fucking high up in my list a couple of years ago, but I just think in the last year and a half, I think he's been a bit too more reliant on the people around him rather than when he was first here. I think he just bossed games by himself.
I think
Not
he's
boss games
on
by himself, but he could hang himself up by himself. He could put himself forward and say, you know what, I'm putting in the shift as well. He was doing well. But
You know who'd be a great
I
swap
don't
for
know.
him?
I don't know about now.
John McGinn. John McGinn would do
Oh,
amazing.
piss off.
That's a kind of a
That'd be a
compared
good
to-
partnership. You.
But I feel like though,
John
with
McGinn and
Jorginho,
Jorginho.
yeah, I feel like with Jorginho, he's a lot better with Kante next to him.
With the absolute man.
I think he is.
So you think Kante and George were not Kante and George and Kova?
No, Kante, George and Kovacic have a good partnership on the ball. But when it comes to if a team is pressing us high or if a team is just as good as us, they are both a liability going back and defending. So I feel like Kante, he's a bit of, what do you call it again? He's one of those players where he's a balanced player with
But
those two.
you lot are judging him based on who plays next to him. Judge him for his qualities.
Yeah.
On the ball,
On
very
the
good.
ball, but off the ball, he's horrendous. He's the DM that
But
can't
he
defend.
makes up for
He
it.
can't
So what
tackle.
does-
He
okay,
can't intercept.
let me- okay, let
The
me-
hell? What he's not even a DM then.
Players
What the
like,
fuck is
players
he?
like Kante and Henderson, they're not the best players on the ball, but what they do off the ball makes up for it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
Why
a balance.
can't it be-
There's
There's a balance.
There's definitely a balance, but I think with him at the moment, I just think, I don't know. I think with my list, I think there's 8 other guys currently because
I had
I made it
10
a
anyway,
current.
yeah.
I made it current, so you can put it in. It's all people's different interpretation. You might think 3 years, 4 years. You might think just last year. You might think just this season.
I've
some
done it
people.
over the last few years anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So fair enough. I don't mind Jorginho being there. I just with my list, I thought I'll try and keep it relevant to the thing where it's current. But I just think off of our last season, I don't think he was he weren't one of our more important players last season. That's all it is. But yeah, we spoke a lot about George, but and rightly so because Chelsea. But yes, that's 19th. That was joint 19th place. So you got like a 17th place really, but yeah, it's what it is. But the next person on the list at 17th place is Bruno Guimaraes.
Nah, that's a shocker. He's played 4 games. And I think he's been injured. He's been
3
injured for
points.
2.
Who put him in?
Bruno Guimaraes?
Yeah.
No, but what do you mean he's played 3
Oh
games?
no, he came in January.
who
Oh,
picked him?
He's been
yeah.
playing for
Nah,
how long?
nah,
Who's
he
that?
picked-
I don't
Do
rate him.
you know what's Newcastle?
I
He's
do,
been here
but
for ages. He's played 3. Bruno
I
Guimaraes.
don't-
Bruno
not enough to get in
Guimaraes.
the- not enough to get in the top 10.
Bruno
That's mad.
Guimaraes was put in by Gunnar and Garni.
Where was the highest?
Well, he's only got 3 points. So Gunnar had him in at 10th, and Garni had him in at 9th.
I just want to say there's a Newcastle fan here in the background with the biggest grin on his face right now. He's over the moon. Son Ohm, my boy.
He was in. Well, it's good to be honest because there's a lot of top midfielders in the league. So come in 17th place is not that bad. But he came in 17th place and he was on them two's list, deep, like low down. So
Wait. We're outraged by Jorginho, but no one wants to talk about him being in the list. In top 10.
because I understand,
He's made a good
I can't
impact on
ask the
his team,
people that
though,
aren't
innit?
on the
I don't
show,
know.
but I kind of understand. They're probably going on to the past year because I spoke to Garni about Bruno Guimaraes. I said, why Bruno Guimaraes in the team? He said on last year he feels like Bruno Guimaraes was the guy who saved Newcastle and bringing them to where they was with Eddie Howe in the team.
Yeah,
He was very.
I agree with that. I agree with
So
That I can
on his
understand.
current 1 year, I get it. So I don't mind that. But I will sift
And
through
that's
his
enough to
list.
warrant
He
a top
needs to be
10.
No, but I will sift. He has to be consistent
has to
with
be
this. So if it's
consistent.
1 year forms and all that kind of stuff, it has
Yeah.
to be consistent.
Fair enough.
So yeah, but in 16th place, just above him with 6 points, we have Ruben Neves.
Howler, I think. Still.
He had 6 points, and he was featured in me and Dempsey's team and Ravo's team from the Galacticos podcast.
Rizak, Bruno, what'd you call it again? Bruno Neves is a lot better than
Ruben Neves.
Oh,
not Bruno
sorry.
Neves.
Ruben Neves.
Ruben Neves is a lot better than John McGinn.
Well, he's not.
He's
Yes, he
better
is.
than
Well,
every
he's
player mentioned apart from Jorginho so far.
Ruben
Nah,
Neves.
yeah.
Oh,
He's-
come on,
he's
you don't
very
start
good.
He's a
this.
quality midfielder.
Very good
Do you know what the
midfielder.
thing is I don't like me and Dempsey had him in quite low. Me and Dempsey had him in at 10th, and I had him in at 10th. But Ravo gave him the extra points. That's where he got his his 4 points from. He actually had him in 7th.
Very good midfielder.
That's mad.
Very consistent.
So
Top 7.
I don't know
Ruben
about
Neves is
top.
seven.
I
Ruben
don't know
Neves.
about top 7.
No, top 10
I think
definitely.
Ravo's gone a bit
Top
mad
10,
there.
I
You know
understand
what,
why
yeah,
people put him
going
in.
off the list so far, I feel like the top 5 or 6 we're all going to agree on. But it's everything after that.
You'd think so. You'd think, but it ain't. But yeah, Ruben
You'd
Neves
think
gets
so.
in there at 16th place.
I rate him highly.
But we'll go on to 15th place. 15th place, you have Mr. Declan Rice
Nah.
with
rate
7
him
points.
still.
7 points, and the people who had him in again, Ravo had him in at 6th.
That guy's
Who
list
is
is sounding like a
This
mare.
guy is
He
from the
sounded like a
Galacticos
mare.
podcast in Australia.
Okay.
Oh, he's
These are
Australian.
your fellow Somali brothers
Yeah.
No,
from
he's Australian.
Australia.
It makes sense.
And he had him in at 6th.
Nah.
And he's a Tottenham fan, bearing in mind.
Never's where?
And he had
Seventh.
Ruben Neves 7th.
Declan Rice 6.
Is he a midfielder?
So who knows? I don't know if he's a midfielder.
Nah.
Ask
But
him next time.
I'll
Ask
ask
him
him
next
next
time.
time if he's a
That is
midfielder.
mad. His list is ass.
Yeah, he
His list is ass.
he had him in at 6th, and Santi had him in at 9th.
Nah, man. I don't rate him. I think he gets a lot of praise because he's English.
I think he's a good player.
Yeah, I
And
think he's
the
I
team
think
he's
very
playing
good.
in.
I think he's good.
I think he's a good
I think
player.
he's very good. I think he's been very consistent for West Ham in the past 2-3 years. Anyway, he's been quite pivotal to how they
And
play.
performed for England as well. To be
Yeah, he carries the ball well.
Does a good job.
I think he's all right. I think he's done well. He's all right. He warrants certain places, maybe 1 or 2 10ths or 9ths, but yes, I think 6th
6th is mad.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy.
is a bit crazy, Ravo. But yeah, he was in what place was he in? He was in 16th place, I think. Was it 15th or 16th? 19, 18, 17, 16th, 5th. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15th. He was in 15th. And let's go on to 14th place. 14th place didn't make the top 10, but this is going to cause some controversy. And in 14th place, we have the man who wears the shirt on the left of me, who is also English. His name is Jordan Henderson.
Jordan Hen-
With
not on the list.
with
He's not on the list.
with 8 points.
He don't make the top 10.
With 8 points.
Why are you clapping?
And
Why are you clapping?
and 5 of his points of his 8 came from Gap. And the other 3 came from me. Came from you.
Boy,
So that's
Rizak knows
ridiculous.
ball.
That's
the rest of them are
ridiculous.
clueless.
So we had a Liverpool fan given the right, yeah, he had him in at 8th, but we had an Arsenal fan. And for the years of knowing Gap, he has always, we've had this argument in his house.
He's been
out
consistent.
on the when we watch games. He loves Jordan Henderson. Gap, can you please explain to us why you love Jordan Henderson so
He
much?
is Liverpool's unsung hero. The best current, I say the best captain they've had over the last 15, 20 years that I could remember. I mean it.
Steven Gerrard.
He got you the only Premier League title you've won.
That doesn't make
It
him.
counts for
That
something.
doesn't. It counts
And
for
he's
something,
matched
but it doesn't
as
make him a
many-
better
And he's
captain.
matched as many Champions Leagues as Gerrard's won.
Okay,
What's there to
wow.
debate?
What's the player he is? The
We're
player.
not talking about ability.
No.
Gerrard's way ahead in ability.
Stevie was with us when we were down bad.
So you think his influence to his get to the game of Liverpool
10
is
out of
massive?
10.
Is
10 out of 10.
is more than
His
Gerrard's
ability,
influence.
But you talk about his ability of playing these balls.
his balls in behind are probably top 4 or 5 out of all the
That's
central
fire. That's
And I'll
fire.
tell you why. No, I'm going to tell you why.
The first time passes,
His balls in
No,
behind.
and I mean it. Those clips in behind to Salah and Mane, everyone just talks about the finish all the time. No one talks about who's playing the pass.
Do you think they're
Until
not just?
Thiago came, he was doing it, but before that it was who?
Do you think they're like extravagant passes? Or do you think they're
Unbelievable
missing?
passes. The weight of pass. You know football, and you always talk about the importance of a weight of a pass, correct?
Yeah.
The weight of pass on a sixpence they call it, right?
Yeah.
To hit fucking Salah and Mane every single time it goes without saying, he does it every single week for them.
This is why he's the
Well,
first.
that's the truth.
But don't you feel like
people just don't appreciate? I'm gonna tell you why people don't appreciate it because it doesn't look good on the eye the way he plays football.
Yeah.
Fergie was cussing him for having a fucking straight back. I get it. It don't look good, but it's all about getting it done when it matters, and he does it every.
And
single
he
week.
got it done, innit?
Don't you feel like he plays good passes? I'm not gonna lie, he does. But don't you feel like with the 3 attacking players that he has, and how teams sometimes set up, especially the good ones, that he will just pick up the pass and he will just hit a ball into a channel where these guys will run into.
You're a centre midfielder.
Yeah.
That's easier said than done.
No, but listen, no, but 100%.
It's the truth.
But you're saying he plays these extravagant passes.
Well, okay, and another thing, would Trent be half the player he is if Hendo wasn't playing right centre mid?
Yes.
Wallahi he
Trent
wouldn't.
doesn't like Hendo.
Whatever you had, you had.
I agree with you.
He says we don't pass to him.
Bullshit. Because every single time, it's would
Nah,
Trent get the
joking, he
numbers?
wouldn't, he
Would Trent
wouldn't.
get the numbers? If
No,
Hendo
no, no.
wasn't playing?
Henderson
gives
pivotal.
him
The ability to do that. Yeah, I get it.
People
I
look
get what you're
at something
saying.
like that and not appreciate that side of football.
100%.
No, I agree with you.
As a coach,
You get it? I understand you.
those things matter more than those little silky passes and turns and
okay.
flicks and tricks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unbelievable
I
player,
get it.
man.
All right, well, he is in 14th place. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15,
thought
14.
he would've made top
He's in
10.
14th place. And we'll move on to the person, also another Englishman. And I find this quite disrespectful because he only got 12 points. And that is Mason Mount.
There's no way he's making top 10. Where did you have him?
I think it's criminal. He's got 12 points.
I didn't go with him at all.
He's got 12 points. I have him in at 5th.
Nice. You got him in at fifth.
Yeah, I have him at 5th.
No way.
I have him in at 5th. Dempsey has him in at 5th.
Why does Dempsey have him?
Dempsey has him in at 5th.
Bro.
I need to have words with my boy. Wallah.
Yep.
That's crazy.
And who else has him in?
That's 5 points.
Yeah.
5 points.
No, 6 points.
Oh,
Yeah.
6 points each.
Yeah, 6 points each.
So I bet you talk to us. Why the hell is Mason Mount the 5th best Premier League midfielder?
Before we get on to Sean, we have another Chelsea fan here. Why didn't he pick him?
Did he even
Yeah,
put him in
it's
his
mad.
Did he know where Sean's
Yeah,
bias
yeah.
is? Mason Mount?
Hussein does not have Mason Mount in his team,
Because
and I
he's
see
not-
some other names on this list that are mental for him being in his top 10 list.
I respect it though.
I don't have Mason Mount in my
respect
top
it.
10.
That's mad. Why?
Why?
I just feel like with Mason Mount, he's very inconsistent. That's number one.
You think he's inconsistent?
Yes.
Mental.
He will have 4 or 5 good games, and then he will have 4 or 5 shit games.
That's mental for me.
And also,
I
feel
think you're
like-
playing too many 3 o'clock kickoffs. I don't think you're watching the full 90
Blackout.
minutes.
You know what-
When you finish your freaking 3 o'clock game at Hilltop, I don't think you're watching
No,
the game.
don't get it twisted. I love Mason. Don't ever get it twisted. And I'll always defend him. And I feel like he will be a top footballer. Definitely. That's without a shadow
He
of a doubt.
arguably is now.
But I feel
That's
like...
what I think. Anyway,
But not-
that's
not top
that's
football.
evident
Oh,
now.
He reached the top.
oh,
I mean,
not
he
top
reached the top. He reached
I
the
think
top.
He won't reach the top.
I think Twitter has made you intoxicated.
Nah, I just feel like with Mason, the people around him and the people that he plays with make him look bad.
Yeah.
And it doesn't suit.
So you're saying it affects his game?
Yeah, it does a lot. Of course it does. You've seen the start of the season. He's had 5 games, he's 0 goals, 0, or maybe 1 assist last night. I expect better from him.
But then
I
even
think
then
he
you get
gets
the
a-
narratives. Even then last night you get the narratives of people saying, "Oh, he's got 0 goals, 0 assists." Like even last
1
night,
assist.
well, 1 assist. Yeah, but are they classifying that? Because that stat I saw that part of today, 0 goals, 0 assists in the last 5 or 6 games or 7 games or whatever it is.
Wasn't that pass to
Wasn't that pass to Sterling
Yeah,
assist?
that's what
No.
I thought.
But people like to cause that agenda on Mason anyway.
that's
But
not an
it's-
assist.
For me, like even last night, like I said,
Yeah, that's not an assist.
Why not?
that's an assist.
No, that's not an assist.
It's all the technicalities of if the ball is touched by another player and
that's
it
an
breaks
assist,
off and it's. But it is what it is. But I think everyone that knows Mason knows how contributional he is to the team, and I think he should have made a lot of other people's lists. I know he hasn't been playing as a natural 10 or a natural 8, and he's been playing on the right wing a lot. So I understand it.
That's also another.
What is
factor.
Yeah, it's a lot. I think
That's
a lot of
also
people
another
probably been
factor
thinking
as
the
well.
fact that he's been playing right wing that he
Yeah,
might not have made
Where
lists.
should he play?
I
He needs to
feel
play in
like
the 10.
His best position is
I don't think he'll be a good
is
10.
in a number 10 role or in a 3-man
The thing is,
midfield.
with the 10, he's going to be in the 10 position, but he's going to give you the 8 stuff as well because he's that good. It's like
and he
Kante.
works hard, yeah.
Kante will give you the 6 stuff, even though he's an 8. So that's the kind of qualities he has. He's got the other side of the game, that more attacking side, where he's the 10, but he'll give you the 8 stuff, and Kante's the guy who's giving you the 8 stuff,
I'll be honest.
the 6 stuff, but he's an 8.
But Gab, don't you
I
feel
rate
like...
Mount highly.
Yeah.
But it's you lot's agendas that have made me hate him.
I know a lot of people, but
I'll be honest with you.
because you lot don't
100%.
see
Yeah,
our
I think he's a very good player.
Well, he obviously doesn't think of it as highly because he thinks it's inconsistent. But me, You already know. You've heard enough from me from when we've had conversations. You know why I rate.
But Gab, don't you feel like with the position that he plays, like on the right, it affects his ability. And he looks like people like Pulisic, Ziyech.
No, it does affect this game, and it's not showing you the best. But even on the right, he's showing you coming inside as well that he's giving you enough and more
100%.
than what other people did. He's still got how many goals and how many assists last season?
Yeah, he done last
and personally, I don't think he was even better than the year before that. I thought his numbers last year were good, but his performance was better the year before that. And that's him still playing right wing.
I feel like he can perform better.
All right, well, we'll see. But he was on the list. He never made the top 10. We'll go on to who made. Where is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12th. 12th on this list with 15 points. Not making a Premier League appearance today is Casemiro.
Bad boy.
That's ridiculous.
That is scandalous.
Scandalous.
Is he even a Premier League player?
Hasn't played a Premier League game.
He hasn't played a game.
But he's on this list.
We're judging him as a player. Or we judging him
As
as
current
Premier League
League. That's what the criteria.
Casemiro.
Premier League players.
And has he played a Premier League?
It's Premier League.
Is he not part of the Premier League?
He
played
is,
last
he
week
is.
for like 20 minutes, I think.
Brother, it doesn't matter. We're talking about ability here. We're not talking about what he does in a Premier League game. True or false?
I don't know. I think.
Well, shall we go through who had him in the list?
Yeah, I want to hear who
I
had
had
it.
him.
Gunnar had him in at 8th. Livs had him in at 10th. Gap had him in at 7th.
Yes.
Garni had him in
Where?
at 4th.
That is mad. And he tried
Your
to
older brother.
He tried to get onto my list last night.
Yep, he has had
He
a
tried to
sticky
get onto my
himself.
list last night.
Without playing.
Without playing.
Premier League game.
I understand. Wait. No, I get it.
Every year.
Yeah, I get it. But it's Premier League. It's not Champions League. Why? What the hell are we judging him as a Champions League?
I get that. No, I get the fact. I said that you can have Casemiro on your list. But I would like to hear the opinions of why Casemiro would be in that list. And because you had Casemiro on your list, you're on the show, so you could talk about
Explain
reasons
yourself.
Firstly, he shits on most of the players on the list.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But this is good because
Ability-wise.
if you think
if we're
ability-wise,
going off for performances and ability, he does it every single year in the Champions League on the biggest stage. He's won how many Champions Leagues? 5?
Yeah, something like that.
And has he ever performed shit in all those big games? Never.
Nah.
And wallah, I don't recall a single bad game from him. But he gets outshined by Kroos and Modric.
it's a good thing that you've put him up this high because at least now we know that if we put up stinkers in the Premier League,
I'm on you.
we're going to be on
But
to
yeah,
you.
can I ask you a question?
And
though?
definitely Garni.
The intensity of the Premier League and the intensity of La Liga is different.
Two different things.
So for
Two
you to
different
put him in your team and the other boys, I feel like it's unfair because you haven't seen
Okay,
how
but then
he
how
goes.
much people have come from the Premier League and dominated
No,
from La Liga and dominated
but
the
you know
Premier
what the
League?
thing is, Gap? I think currently, because I said the top 10 current midfielders, I think currently, even in the past 2 years, I think Casemiro has been bang average.
I don't think so, man.
I think he's deteriorating. I think he's going down in quality. I don't think
so, bro.
I think they've been
No,
dragging.
you're harsh.
Even do you know why? Do you know why?
Let him explain himself.
Bar the Champions League. This is why I had a few players in that Champions League final, which is why I thought Liverpool would beat Real Madrid anyway. But people like Casemiro, people like Carvajal, I weren't sold on them throughout the whole of their seasons. Whatever.
I thought Casemiro played well, bro.
Casemiro played well in the final.
I thought he did
Carvajal played exceptionally well in the final. See, even me, I'm an idiot not turning on my phone. But yeah, in the final, excellent. But prior to that, every time I saw Casemiro, I wasn't really sold. I know people will kick up a fuss. Say, oh, no, Real Madrid fans will go kick up a fuss. But Casemiro, for me, I don't think he was the main man in that side. I think Modric was carrying
Never
that
the main
midfield.
man. I would never say
No,
the
but I'm
main
saying,
man.
I think Modric was carrying that midfield.
He was an
But it just
unsung
raised the
hero.
standard
He
of that
was.
team for
I
him
know.
to be the third best midfielder.
But him and
of the team.
Kroos, him,
Unsung
Kroos,
hero.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wallah, absolutely, bro. And he has
he
been
is
for
a
like
hundred.
the
He's been an
last 7
unsung,
years.
yeah, but 7 years. But this is current, and I think currently, I don't think he's been at that high level. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
All in
this
due time,
result.
I
We'll
think.
see.
Where did you have him?
He's
I
a
had
top
him
DM. He's a top DM.
Just under Henderson. I think I had him 7th.
You had him
7th.
in 7th, yes.
I understand
Henderson
it, but I wouldn't put him in. He's played
Right.
20 minutes, 15 minutes.
game
He
player.
basically hasn't played.
Right, we're going to the 11th place now. 11th place, just missing out on the top 10. We spoke about a lot of these guys outside the top 10. But in 11th place, we have, with 16 points, 1 point more than Casemiro, we have Martin Odegaard.
That's a stinker.
I think that's bullshit.
Can't lie, he just missed out on my list.
He definitely was missing out on my list. That's why I put John McGinn. It was between him and John McGinn. I said, fuck Odegaard.
I want to address
Fuck
this fact.
Arsenal.
I want to address this fact. Someone has him in third.
Third. That's an Arsenal fan.
Is it the Australian brother?
Nope.
Who?
It's a Man United fan.
Dempsey. Oh, Dempsey's list is bad.
You know why I have him?
Where?
9th.
No, that's a bit too high for me.
I think
We
he
need to get
deserves
Dempsey
it.
back on. He needs to.
Dempsey will be
answer
coming
for
on to answer for his
He
crimes.
needs to answer for his
He will
crimes.
answer for his crimes.
He's got a couple.
But Odegaard was in Santi's list at 10th. Dempsey had him in at 3rd.
What the hell, bro?
Who else had him in there high? Odegaard, Livs had him in at 8th. Even Livs had him in at 8th.
Dempsey had him 3rd.
Yeah, Hussein, you had him in at 9th, and Ravo had him in at 9th. So Ravo had him in at 9th as well, actually. Yeah, but the highest was indeed
As an
Dempsey.
Arsenal fan, I'm not mad at it.
I don't even.
He
think,
got 8 points. He only got 16 points. 8 of them came from Dempsey.
Yeah.
I don't even think he's not even.
And
better
he
than
made
Mason
11th on the list.
I think Odegaard is fantastic.
I think currently, this season, I think he's been Arsenal's most integral player.
Yeah, by far.
By far. So if you want to talk about current,
Not
then
Zinchenko,
Yeah,
not
Zinchenko,
Jesus,
but I think he's
not
edged
them
it.
man.
Like, he's
yeah,
edged
Odegaard's
it.
edged it still.
The way he plays football, the way that guy
You seen
plays
against
football,
Fulham, they were
intelligence
struggling without
is another level.
Zinchenko.
the guy that
Fulham,
the-
they were struggling without.
I'll tell you something, Abdul.
Wait, no.
The
Hold
way-
on. Against Fulham, without Partey, they look fucking shit in the middle, and without Zinchenko, they looked lost. They could have lost against Fulham. They're taking a piss. And Odegaard was on the
But
pitch.
who's still playing
And
a
who's-
big part in us
And,
winning the
and
game?
who started the comeback? God is the one that started the comeback, bro.
But I don't care. That midfield, you watched that game, no?
watched it, yeah.
How bad was that? You lot could have actually lost
Okay, I
that
missed
game.
the first half because we were coming back from the hilltop.
Okay, cool. That
But
I
in the
watched that
second
first half. It was fucking
Yeah, but
abysmal.
he played well.
No, he didn't. Crystal Palace, he had a fucking mare. That
Okay.
first game of the season.
Who
That
scored
guy's not
who scored
consistent.
the first goal for our comeback?
I don't know.
And the game before that, he scored 2 goals. No, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
I think Odegaard's been the most important player.
100%.
Jesus has been a more important player than my man. Bro.
And the problem is with midfielders, you always look at stats. His all-round play
Yeah.
has been
His all-round play
absolutely
is
sensational.
no, it's not.
Jesus has still got the same amount of goals as who is it?
Yeah.
How many goals he got?
He's got what, 2?
He only got 1 goal or 2 goals.
Nah, he's got, I think
2
he's
goals.
He got a lot.
3?
2
Can't
or 3,
have
yeah.
3.
Either way, it doesn't matter.
Either way,
Jesus
yeah.
is performing.
But I think Odegaard has
Rizak,
definitely
let me tell you something. Odegaard, the way that guy plays football, one touch, his movement, his passing, his awareness.
he's too
his
inconsistent.
football brain.
Gabriel
too
Jesus
inconsistent
Gabriel Jesus has 2 goals.
He's too inconsistent for me.
Fantastic.
There's 3 other 10s in the Premier League better.
He has the same amount of
James
goals.
Maddison.
Sean, wait
Mason
a second.
Mount.
He has the same amount of goals as Anthony Gordon.
Hear this
The
guy.
Everton you.
Hear this guy out.
And he's shit.
Hear him out. What was he saying? There's 3 number 10.
Yeah, there's 2 10s better than him.
Go on.
Maddison, Mount, and De Bruyne. Are you taking a piss?
Well, you don't
Is
believe
James
what I
Maddison?
don't believe,
Is James Maddison not better than
James
Odegaard?
Maddison is the most.
Oh, you lot have
Wallah, I
ridiculous.
think he's the most overrated English player in the Premier League.
Look what he's doing for Leicester City, bro. I mean, you check his
Nah,
stats. I don't want to be a stats man, but check his stats.
No, Madison's a good
and
player.
his overall play.
No, don't get too Madison's
The
a
hell?
good player.
You think if Odegaard goes to Leicester, he's
there's
doing that for
levels.
Leicester?
There's levels.
No
there's
way.
Levels. Odegaard and Madison, there's levels.
Ah,
Odegaard's clear.
listen, Odegaard.
It's clear.
What, you think Madison's better than Odegaard?
No.
Are you
I
crazy?
think. Oh, you lot. are
Odegaard
mad.
didn't make this list as and
is the man that
James
put-
Maddison didn't have 1 nomination, remember?
Why didn't you vote for
And he had John
James?
McGinn.
Go
Why
on.
didn't you vote for James?
I need John McGinn in my team.
Right, well, he was in 11th place. And we'll go into the top 10 now.
Here's where it starts. Here's where
It starts. But we have a joint 10th. So we have 10th, joint 10th. They have 17 points. They have 1 point more than Odegaard. They both have 1 point more. They have 17 points. And that is Thomas Partey and Bruno Fernandes.
Nah.
Thomas Partey is in my team. So
We'll start with Thomas
goes in.
Partey. Thomas Partey was in 7th for Santi. Thomas Partey was in 9th for Dempsey. Didn't make Rizak's list.
Didn't make my list.
Ghana had 9th. Didn't make my list. Livs had him in at 9th. Gap didn't have him in his list. Garni had Thomas Partey 5th.
Yeah, Thomas Partey.
I'm not surprised. We argue about it all the time.
Oh my lord.
Okay.
Garni had Thomas Partey 5th. And no one else had him in their list other than them lot. But Garni had him in at 5th, which
I
got
did
him
as
his
well.
most points.
You had him at
You
5th.
had my 5th.
No, I had him at.
Sorry, you had him at 10th.
Yeah, he's around there. Like I was debating. Putting
So
him
yeah,
10th.
Thomas Partey gets 17. He made top 10. I'm flabbergasted that he's made the top 10.
I'll tell you why.
But that's due to the Arsenal influence.
Yeah.
But I'll
hear
tell
it.
you.
There's a lot of Arsenal man today.
I'll tell you the reason why I put him in my list. Firstly, look when Thomas Partey gets injured and how Arsenal play. It affects their whole game, and it exposes people like Xhaka, people like Odegaard,
Yes.
people like Elneny,
Yeah, no, no, shit.
people like Gabriel. It
Yeah,
will
but if you're
expose
going to
all of
talk
them.
about Thomas Partey, people have that same kind of argument with Granit Xhaka. They talk
That's
about
true.
the
That's
effect of
fact.
Granit
I'll
Xhaka.
tell you that as an Arsenal fan. When he don't play,
When he don't
we
play, a
well.
lot of the I never really hear that with Thomas Partey.
And I'm not even a fan of the guy.
Thomas
It's wrong.
Partey was, he never made your list, Gap, and I respect that because he shouldn't be in that list. I don't think he should be in this list.
Here, bro.
But Thomas Partey was the man who was called Mr. 4 out of 10. He gave himself the 4 out of 10 performance throughout his whole season, arguably, most of his season. So for him to be given 4 out of 10s and the standard that we held him to, we thought he was going to come in and be the best DM in the Premier League. I think
That's what he should have
smelly.
been. And he's been ass.
I don't think he's been smelling.
He's been inconsistent as well.
Do you know what it is though,
He's been
Sean?
slowly getting better.
You also need to understand when Arsenal play without him, i.e., the end of last season.
Yeah, but there's a lot of
when they were
players.
going
That's what I'm
for
trying to say.
top
There's a
four,
lot of players.
when you was going for
No,
your top
but
four,
that's also true.
he was pivotal and Xhaka was playing. And Xhaka got exposed left, right, and centre, right? With Mohamed El-Neni.
Yeah.
So I feel like if Thomas Partey was playing in that run up to the top 4 battle, you would have got top
We
4.
could have got it.
You would have got it. You
But
would
the
have
same
got
thing
it.
could have been said if Xhaka was out though. And that's not
Possibly.
playing.
But who's
They're-
more pivotal to Arsenal team?
No,
Xhaka
right now
or Partey?
Right now it's Partey.
Okay, Fez. Well, he made it in at 10th, and the other person who made it in at joint 10th was Bruno Fernandes.
That guy's shit.
I think
He
he's
is
poor.
Long ball merchant. Put your foot
I
through it
had
and
him
hope.
at 9th or 10th.
That is stinky.
Dempsey had him in at 4th behind Odegaard.
Yeah, that man needs to be held
Fourth
accountable for
behind
his crimes.
Odegaard.
Dempsey will be coming back, don't worry. Gunnar had him in at 6th.
This is mental.
Who else had him? Gap had him in at 9th. Garni didn't have him. Hussein, did you have him?
He doesn't deserve to be.
Didn't have him.
Nowhere near.
You know,
Oh,
okay,
yes.
Can I explain why I put him, though?
Sorry. I'll explain to you who had him highest on the list. Dempsey didn't even have him highest on the list. Ravo had him on the list
Where?
at 3rd.
Why the man in this country? please?
We need the Australians. Australia. You see the Australian Ravo. You're doing the Australians a bit of a dishonest
I think it's the time
disjustice.
difference, you know.
It's time difference.
It's the time difference.
They must be watching it
Maybe.
at like 5 a.m. or something. It don't
Bruno
make sense.
Fernandes. He had 1 year, but other than that, I think even with that 1 year,
No,
I think we all
I
knew.
rate him. What he's done in
I
that
didn't rate him
year,
in that year, even though he was banging.
Yeah,
he was unbelievable. He saved
yeah,
Man
obviously,
United.
he saved them. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
but not 3rd.
For that reason,
I didn't mind him having
alone,
ninth.
and
You're gonna put him
what
third?
I've seen him doing a lot of big games as well. I have him in at 9th.
But Gab, do you know with Bruno Fernandes,
Nah.
he is the most frustrating player in the Premier League. Do you know why? Because he has a lot of good qualities. But I feel like, personally, when he plays football, he
A lot of it
plays
is
football-
forced.
But do you know what I think?
It's
I
forced.
think he's
It's like he's
taking
juggling a
time
hot.
bomb.
It's a hot pancake. style.
Yeah.
I think he's poorly coached or managed.
Yeah.
He's at a fucking shit team. If he was at any other big club, wallah, I think he would be unbelievable.
I was going to say I'd give an example. It's the same kind of stuff at Portugal, but I don't think international sides have a lot of time to play with each other anyway. But
they
yeah,
never do.
he doesn't seem to play well at Portugal and at Man United. So I know it's not the greatest.
And another thing is, I
circumstances.
feel like you always need to accommodate for him.
Yeah.
He can't fit into systems.
Yeah.
So whose fault is that? That's not the
But
man's
there
fault. That's
are
his
play-
fault.
But if you know football, you know there are
That's his
players like
fault.
that.
No,
And when you have a
there are
player
players
of,
that
that,
he's right.
of such quality, you have to accommodate to him.
Of such quality, his quality. ain't
I
that
think he
great.
got quality, man.
Maybe
I think you
Casemiro
got
could
no
be the
tech.
person that could unlock him.
We will see.
They need to do that and get rid of Ronaldo. Then it's possible.
I don't think they'll ever get rid of Ronaldo.
Because when Ronaldo doesn't play, he plays well.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Well, they are 10th in the list, joint 10th. And in 8th place, with 26 points, this is when people starting to get a little bit more points, is Mateo Kovacic.
Yeah, it makes sense for me. I'll put him around there, yeah.
Dribble merchant.
26
Put him
points.
around there. Nah, he's good though.
And do you want to know who had him in at the highest? He's speaking right now.
Me?
No, me.
How where did you have him?
I have him at 3rd.
That's mad.
Wow.
Third. You're taking the piss.
Yep.
Just to be clear,
You're taking the
so
absolute
he's
piss.
potentially better than any of the names I say. De Bruyne.
Okay, we're not talking about everyone. We won't mention everyone else.
Because
I had him at 3rd.
That's crazy.
That's
Okay,
mental.
do you know why I
That
had him
is
at 3rd? Do you know why I had him at
ridiculous
3rd? I had him at 3rd because I think last year, I think he was our best player of the season. I think Kovacic was our best player of the season.
I watched Chelsea play one game
Arguably,
live.
yeah. Arguably, yeah.
I watched him play one game live last season, FA Cup final, and I was sitting near you. We had front row seats.
And he was injured, remember?
He played the game,
Yeah, but he was injured.
and fucking Tuchel was ripping his head off every single time.
He was
had a
playing
howler.
with an injury. He was playing with a
Didn't
massive
you see
injury.
his ankle?
So why was he on the pitch for
So who
so
told
long?
him to play? Who
From
told him to
minute
play?
one, he was having a howler.
he was forced
and
to-
Tuchel was fucking ripping his
He
head
was
off.
he was forced to play, but
And you were
that's
sat
one
right
game.
behind him, so you saw it.
I was
You
sitting
saw
right
it
beside him.
front row.
I was talking to him.
So you saw what
I
happened.
saw his leg being nurtured to.
Fucking hell, bro.
He does not deserve to go.
But
third.
I had him
That's
at third. I
ridiculous.
just think personally, I think Kovacic was our best midfielder last year. Bit of bias.
Nah, Sean, you're having a
a
hard day,
bit
man.
of bias.
Nah,
Sure.
because
That's
obviously
a lot of
I
bias.
had Mason Mount at fifth. Like I got maybe it's a Chelsea bias, but I don't know. But
If you had him at
Kovacic,
6, 7,
wonder-
8, I wouldn't even be mad.
I just think Kova has been more integral. Like we finished third last year, and he was our best player.
Kova was your best player.
He was our best player, I think.
I put
Arguably.
him
I won't argue. I won't argue.
As
that.
I said
Yeah.
midfielder, he was our
Me
best
I
player.
won't argue
personally,
that.
I put him in 7th.
Yeah,
can
well
live
we'll
with
go. We'll go through
I'm
it.
not happy with it, but I can live with it.
Okay,
is.
Santi
But
had
third.
Santi had him in at 8th. Dempsey never had in Kovacic at all.
That's and look who you.
And look at the place he's got in. Rizak had him in at 9th. Gunnar had him in at 7th. I had him in at 3rd. Livs didn't have in Kovacic at all.
Lives a hater.
I think if
Gap,
He's a big
Gap,
hater.
Gap didn't
If
have,
he's
Gap
gonna
didn't
put
have
him third, I
Kovacic
don't
in
think he's
at
making
all.
it.
Garni had him in at 7th.
Oh, no,
Hussein had him in at 7th. And Ravo had him in at 10th.
Nah, Sean, my brother, I got love for you, but you're smoking bush, bro.
I think you
This
say
is crazy.
You put him third. Put him in that list. I think.
Well, he got 8 points from me, but even if I
What's
took
the
off,
difference?
even if you took off like 3 or 4
Sean,
points,
I'm not gonna lie to
He
you.
gets in.
he's still on 22. He's still
Sean,
got 5
I'm not
points.
gonna
more
lie
than
to you.
everyone else.
Okay.
I love Kovacic, but third position,
Is a
that's
meh.
the Chelsea bias. You
Nah,
know that.
I think he was good.
Yeah,
last. I
you-
think
you
he
know
was
that.
top
But
last
that
year.
you're
I
putting
think
him
he
third
was
best
our best player.
midfielder in the Prem.
I think in terms of influence to the team, I think he was very integral to Chelsea last year in us coming third. And
I
I
understand
think if
that.
we never had him, I don't think we would have got top 4 because it was very tight up there. And I think he, as our best midfielder, was very close. We didn't score many goals.
Kovacic is
It
fantastic.
was mostly our defence and our midfield that kind of got us through. I think
Yeah.
Kova
Yeah,
was
but
massive.
you're judging it off for Chelsea. We're talking about amongst the whole league.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, forget what we did for
100%.
Chelsea.
But it's a bit of a bias. But I think he was influential for us.
Okay, but now I said John McGinn is
That is
Aston
what
Villa's
outrageous.
most influential.
The most outrageous thing
One.
I've heard today is Kovacic at third,
Right?
not John
Not
McGinn
John
at
McGinn.
tenth.
Nah,
I
that's
could have
mad.
put John McGinn first.
Kovacic
He's the
not
most-
being in this list on certain people's list is criminal.
Yeah,
Him not
that's
being on your
criminal.
list,
Yeah,
is
that's
criminal.
criminal. Yeah.
I've never been fond of him. Is it a secret?
You got Jorginho in your list.
How have you
I
got
think
Jorginho?
Jorginho is the best midfielder.
You think Jorginho? Yeah, see, that's criminal. That's the most criminal. And you smiling, you know.
It's my love for Italian.
Oh well, he made it in at 9th. He made it in at 8th. Sorry, 8th. And we'll go into 7th. And with 32 points, 6 points more than him, we have his partner in crime beside him, N'Golo Kante.
I don't know, you know.
He
I think
had
should be a little bit higher. but I
32
think-
points.
I think I had him at
Where's he?
fifth.
7th.
And I tell you who had him in his highest. Ghana had him in at 3rd.
I know he's
Where did you have
proven,
him?
but
I had Kante in at 7th.
I had him at 6.
yeah, I had him at 6 as well. Yeah.
Yeah, most people had him in at 7th. Livs had him in at 7th. Gap had him in at 5th. Garni never had Kante in his list at
At
all.
all, and he had Bruno.
Ravo didn't have Kante in at all. Ghana had Kante in 3rd.
That's mental.
Rizak, you had him in at 6th. Dempsey didn't have Kante in his list at all.
Oh, like he had Odegaard 3rd, I swear.
And Santi didn't have
Dempsey.
Kante in his list at all.
Dempsey took the piss.
So that's what I'm saying to you. This is how close it is because certain people that are top midfielders didn't even get in a top 10 list of certain
criminal.
mans.
That's criminal.
That's
So yeah, him at 10th is him at 8th.
It's wrong.
I think it's a bit wrong.
who at 8th.
For him to not even be on your list is crazy.
Yeah, we spoke
That's
about
very disrespectful.
we've spoke about Kante
I
already.
feel like it's
Anyway.
very disrespectful.
We spoke about Kante already, but he's in at 8th. We'll go on to 7th. 7th place with an extra point ahead of him, just 1 point extra. We have Fabinho.
At where?
He is at 7th.
That's ridiculous, in my
I never
eyes.
had him.
That is arguably the best DM in the league.
I never had no.
How?
Rodri.
Arguably the best
No,
DM
sorry,
in the league.
he's 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. I said he's 6th. Kante was 7th. He was 6th.
Still, I think he should make top 5.
You know where I got you know where I got Fabinho?
Where?
8th.
That's ridiculous, bro.
And that's where he should be.
That's ridiculous, bro.
I had
Hey,
Fabinho.
right now, he's performing better than my man.
Santi.
Why the hell is Kante ahead of him?
Okay. Santi had. Let's say Santi had him in at 5th. Dempsey had him in at 7th. Rizak had him in at 4th.
We need to take Dempsey's list out of here. That's ridiculous. He's got Odegaard third.
Ghana didn't have Fabinho in his list. Ghana didn't have Fabinho in his list. I had him in at 7th. I had him in at 8th as well. Livs had Fabinho in at 5th. Gap, you didn't have Fabinho in your list.
That's ridiculous, bro.
I like him. I think he's a very good player. But
So Jorginho is better than Fabinho. Is that what you're telling me right now?
Garni
you're taking the piss.
had Fabinho at 10th. He had Guimaraes above him.
They're all taking the piss.
Hussein
Clocks. It's the Liverpool.
had
Nah,
Fabinho in at 8th.
I like
at
Liverpool.
Nah, huh?
And so did Ravo
I
have him
really,
at 8th.
I really like Fabinho.
How's he 8th? He's the second. If you lot are saying he's the second best DM in the league, how is he 8th?
I think personally, Mateo Kovacic and Kante have more influence.
Shut the fuck up. No
That's
way,
me.
bro.
I think they do.
You don't see what happened at United?
I do like
The hell
Fabinho.
we got at
You know what it
United
is?
because they didn't play.
Do you know what it is though?
I think you would have got smoked.
With
either way, man.
Fabinho,
No
yeah.
way, no
Your
way
home-
we're getting
Your
smoked.
home
Do you know what
midfield
it
is
is?
shit.
No way.
With Fabinho, apart from Thiago, he's the only one that probably has a football brain, right?
So, yeah, okay.
Cool.
And even I
He's got a
think
football.
that's
Fabinho's
limited.
got a football brain.
I
Chat to
think
me.
that's limited.
You're taking the
Do
piss.
you think,
Wallah,
do you
I
think
don't-
Henderson's got a good football brain?
I think he has an
Henderson's got.
unbelievable
He's
football
got Henderson.
Unbelievable.
What are you talking about?
Henderson is your second best midfielder.
Oh, this guy's mental. This guy's
Also,
mental.
Thiago, the magician.
It's Fabinho. Come on, bro,
Fabinho,
you're
I
taking
think,
the
is
piss.
very integral to how they play still.
Come
I
on,
think,
bro.
I think,
Henderson.
I think,
He
no,
just
no,
sits.
Henderson now.
Can I just put it
Listen,
out
we've
there?
been seeing this midfield for a year.
Yeah.
These two old pensioners and Harvey Elliott. It looks tragic.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh.
Okay,
If
last
Fabinho
game,
was put into that
did
system,
Henderson not play
way
our
better.
position?
what he's playing right centre mid.
He played
played
60.
So he played
Yeah,
DM.
He's playing DM.
He
Okay.
played in Fabinho's position.
Okay.
He can do
And when
yes.
Fabinho came on in the 60th minute, we were far better. Straight away. We
Because-
improved straight
Why?
away.
Why? Because he played in his position.
No, because
It's
Fabinho
football.
came on.
Fabinho in the
where?
last 2-3 years has been very integral to.
He's been arguably the best DM. Like, there's times I put Fabinho ahead of
we
Rodri.
have been comparing Fabinho and Rodri.
And you're
for a
telling
long
Can I
me-
just
I
make
think
it
it's
clear?
not- it's not.
And
Apart
we haven't even got to this man's name yet, but Fabinho and this guy was always compared as the best DMs in the midfield.
And you're now telling me-
Fabinho's contribution. That's what I'm saying. Fabinho's contribution to that midfield is massive.
Sean, can I just make this clear? Apart from Rodri in that DM role, no one's better than Fabinho. I'll take it for free.
So I'll tell you now.
tell you
So you've got him 8th.
Yeah.
So Sean, is there any other DMs at 7 and above for this guy?
What for Hussein?
Where's Kante?
He plays double
Kante's
pivot.
Where did you
sixth.
put Kante?
Double
Kante was
pivot.
sixth.
So you put Kante 6.
He double pivot.
Yeah,
I
but he's
don't
talking
give a
about
fuck.
single.
I'm talking about
pivot
single.
DM.
Nah,
pivot.
come on. Okay, when Thiago's on the pitch, did Thiago and Fabinho not play double pivot?
No, when do you not play that? Don't try
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Don't try that. Let's not.
No, but a lot of midfielders can't play in a single pivot. The way Fabinho.
Yeah, a lot of.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
It's the way the team
so
is.
he-
set up.
Jorginho can do it, I think, if he has a decent
Oh, that's
midfielder.
crazy.
Well, I think he can. If he has a decent midfielder.
He's got to have.
Why does he need to have a decent
He
midfield?
needs to be in that City team for that to work.
I think it will work in Chelsea.
need to have the ball.
No,
Yeah.
it will work in Chelsea. If you play a 4-3-3 and Jorginho sits
Calvin
right,
Phillips is
with
a-
Kante and Kovacic ahead of him.
Calvin Phillips would look better with Kante and Kovacic.
If that happens, we need to have
What the
two
fuck
quick
are you
centre
talking
backs.
Yeah, you can't.
We have two very quick centre backs.
You can't
Two
have the old
centre-backs,
men.
yeah.
You can't.
Well, he finished 6th in this list.
Fucking hell.
We're into the top 5 now. Top 5 in 5th place with 52 points, almost 20 points more than Fabinho. We have İlkay Gundogan, one of the first Man City players that we've mentioned. I think.
He makes it. I'll give it to him still. He's very
I think I had him a
underappreciated.
little lower, but fair.
İlkay
Yeah, I did
Gundogan.
as well.
Santi had him in at 6th. Dempsey had him in at 8th. Rizak had him in at 7th.
Dempsey's listening.
Gunnar had him in at 4th. I had him in at 6th. Livs had him in at 6th. Gap had him in at 8th. Garni had him in at 6th. Gundogan, Hussein, you had Gundogan in at 3rd.
You're mental.
And Ravo had him in at
No,
4th.
no,
so
I'm
why
scared
you
for
had
what
him
your
at the
top
highest?
two is.
Why
I'm
did
scared for what
Gundogan
your
make
top
him
two
in
is.
your top 3?
Gundogan for me, firstly, he's an unbelievable footballer.
Oh, he was,
Agreed.
He wants to play
Let's
like
just make it clear.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Unbelievable footballer.
Very influential.
This man, the way he arrives late into the box is probably the best in the Premier League.
Lampard-esque.
It's Lampard-esque, yeah.
It is Lampard.
And to match it, he's an unbelievable footballer. He can play 6, he can play 8, he can play 10, he can play
I
any
don't know
type
if he
of
can play
formation.
6.
Yes, he can play 6.
I don't know.
My only
can't play
issue,
six.
and the only reason I
Single
never had
double.
him higher
Single
is everyone fully fit, he don't start for City.
So how can he be top 3?
That's why I personally would have him.
I feel like that's with age, though, guy. If
How old is he? What the fuck?
he's 30,
Rodri,
but even
Bernardo,
with
and De
He's-
Bruyne
I
have
think
to
he's
play.
30.
Okay,
31?
who was
He's
critical
31?
to them coming back into the game
last year.
last year and winning
Last
the league?
year, he's.
But did he
yeah,
start that
was
game?
good.
He came off the bench.
No, no.
came off the bench.
But
My point.
there's many times where that guy plays and starts in midfield. And in the it's a way how they change things up. When De Bruyne don't play in the team and Gundogan plays in the team, it's a
They
whole
play
different
way
story.
better football.
People
Yeah,
say
they
that
do.
Way
it's
better
better
football,
football.
yeah.
But Gundogan, his capabilities of dropping to the defense, picking up the ball. He's got the ability to dictate and bop with people in the
Ball
middle of the park.
retention as well.
And his late arrivals into the box are top quality.
And the man
I
does
think
not lose
all
the ball.
round he's top quality. I do believe that he's a very, very
so
top.
don't you feel like he's an all-round midfielder?
I do think he is.
I'm not mad at him
I
being
can't.
high.
I'm not
The
mad.
one reason I can't put him that high is because he doesn't start. Everyone fully
Fair
fit
enough.
doesn't start.
Yeah, and that's the only thing probably why I had him
But
6th.
doesn't that tell you how good Man City's
Yeah,
midfield
it's
is?
unbelievable.
Yeah.
That he doesn't start.
That
'Cause he
shows
will
you.
start. Gundogan will start for
Brother,
any team in
look
the
at
Premier
this.
League.
Any team.
We took
Yeah, that's what I
2 second-string players from them, and they're arguably our best players.
I know. It's
That
mad.
says a lot about this.
what?
club.
This is why I keep
2
telling people.
second-string players.
This is the kind of team
Zinchenko and Jesus.
we have to fight against these teams to win the league. This is what it is. And he will walk into every other team. Everyone.
I don't know.
rate him
I don't
highly.
think he walks into Liverpool, but
Well, that's 5th place.
that's up to debate.
That's 5th place. In 4th place with 63 points, 11 points more than him, is Thiago Alcantara.
That is a mare. Wallah, I think that's a mare. That is a mare.
Let me address this list.
I know Sean had him low. I could
Let me
tell.
address this list.
tell.
Now let me address this list. Santi had him in at 4th.
Okay,
Dempsey had him in at 2nd. Yeah.
makes sense.
Second.
Why you lot? Makes sense.
Gunnar had him in at 2nd.
Oh, he was close. I almost done it, Sean.
I had him in at 9th.
What? See, he's taking a piss. You're taking a piss.
Livs had him in at 2nd.
Nah, Sean, he wanted to bring him
Gap,
low.
you had him in at 3rd.
You're a
Yeah,
bastard.
yeah.
You wanted to make him
Garni had him in at 8th.
low. These man don't know ball.
Hussein, you had him in at 5th.
I had him at 5th.
Ravo didn't have Thiago Alcantara on his list.
That guy don't know ball. That guy don't know ball at all.
He's the only one that never had him in the list. But
Come on, bro.
there is one man who had him in 1st.
Who?
Me! Me! That man was the best midfielder in the Premier League last year, bro. By far.
I think that's
And what was
mental.
De Bruyne doing?
De Bruyne was fucking shit last year. Come on, man. The
De
Biggie
Bru-
be
I
serious.
can't
De
understand.
Bruyne was fucking
Thiago
shit last
Silva.
year.
I can't believe that Thiago Alcantara is 2nd in people's list.
How's he ninth in your list? My list is
Now,
not a mare.
before we get onto you,
This ain't a
first
mare.
that's madness.
How's it a madness?
That's
Where
mad.
did De Bruyne? Where did De Bruyne?
De Bruyne on my list.
Oh, we're not going to talk about that
We're
yet.
not gonna talk
Okay,
about it.
let's discuss that one first.
Why is he ninth?
I think
Ninth.
He was our best player last year.
How many games did he play last
Most
year?
important. Huh?
Where is
How
that?
many games did he play last
Let
year?
me
I'll
ask
say
Sean,
30.
why do you
I'll
do you
say
have him in
30.
ninth?
Last year he was fit most of
Why
the
do you have
season.
him in ninth?
For me, Thiago Alcantara, it hasn't changed the way that these lot played this. Do
Oh,
you know what
come
it is? Him as an influence, I don't think has been massive for Liverpool. I think
been
that
No,
they-
I disagree.
No,
because
it's
they
been
got-
absolutely.
I think they kind of adjusted the way they played to suit him.
I think
when
they-
he first
Yeah,
came
they
in,
have.
was
when he
struggling.
plays,
Yeah, I
I
agree
think they
that.
adjust the way
25
they
in the
play.
Prem.
25 in the Prem.
Appears.
I didn't think he played enough, and that's not even starts. 25 appearances, but when he did play, they did change the way they played.
Yeah.
And we played much
And
better
they played
football.
Yeah,
beautiful
because
football.
they,
Much
because
better.
they're using
I
the
agree.
midfield,
Yeah, yeah.
not these freaking road runners like Henderson and
No, 100%.
So now he's come in. He's improved our midfield. He's
Yeah.
improved our
Yes.
game. We went for basically the quadruple last year.
And I'll tell you the
if
difference.
we got the quadruple, we're going for six cups now.
Over the last few years,
There's only one other team in the world to ever do that.
Rizak.
And we were going to do it with him.
Nah, but
and he was our best player. How was he not first?
how was he your best player playing 25 games?
What? No, 25 games in the Prem. I'm talking about overall. He played probably 40 games.
Yeah.
Rizak, can I ask you
games.
something?
That's enough.
I want to ask you a question.
40 games.
So Rizak,
We got Champions League final.
so Rizak,
12
I
games.
want to ask you a question.
He didn't play. every game.
Who's Liverpool's best player?
Last year, Liverpool's best player, not Sadio Mane, it's not Mo Salah. Wallahi, it was Thiago. That man lets us kick ball. He can defend.
Yeah.
He can play 6, 8, and 10, bro.
I'll tell you what he's added to Liverpool.
Wallahi,
too.
and he can play it very well.
When teams set off Liverpool now, you don't have a nosebleed anymore.
Yeah, he's got that.
Because
final-
he's on the
got-
pitch
He
and
can
he's got
break
the
the
final
lines.
ball.
Yeah.
He can do
He
something.
actually do something.
His
Bloody hell.
penetrating passes.
And this man put him ninth.
I don't.
You
think
put Mason Mount fifth. What the fuck is his
do
list?
that.
I think he's more influential to our team than what he is to your team.
Abdulrazak, shall
I
I
think
make
you
you
both
laugh?
had a howler though.
No,
Ninth and first is
I think maybe not
How?
that low. I
He-
think Thiago
I
Alcantara got to be
think-
that.
I'll go
I
with
think
my
I
third.
think
I
Thiago
rate him.
Alcantara is an unbelievable player. People rate him as the best player in
Technically-
trainings and
technically he's
technically
the best
his
in the
touch,
league.
Yes, technically he's the best player in the
his
league.
touch, his vision is up there. But I just think in terms of the influence to
Yeah,
the side,
and impact is
I
true.
don't know if it's
Influence
not
to
there.
the side.
Rizak, let me tell you
When
something.
he's on the pitch, you lot just said it yourself. We play different ball.
Okay,
You
play
play so-
different, but
and it's
he doesn't
better.
Play it, I don't.
We
think-
don't play-
I don't
before
think
he
he
came-
influences you
But
enough.
1 second, the passes that Thiago
Maybe I'm
plays
wrong still. I
to the
haven't
front
read long.
three, they're even shocked. Because they're not used to it. They're used to
Yeah.
Henderson
They had
running
to adjust.
into them.
Oh,
So-
Ronaldo running
So
into them.
okay.
Don't do that.
So is that a
Henderson plays
criticism on Thiago? Is that criticism on the forward players?
Forward players.
So exactly that's what I'm saying.
Thiago is an
In my
absolute
opinion,
baller.
Let's not act
in
like
my
this guy
opinion,
came into
he
the
should have
team.
got player of the year, PFA player of the year. In my opinion, that's what I think. He was the best midfielder by far.
This is where me and you disagree. Nah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Holy
But
Top
he,
5, 100%.
but yeah, but
And
listen,
ninth. I know why he put him
I
ninth.
rate him.
This
Top
you're a
5,
bastard.
I'm happy with that.
I know why he put him ninth.
Nah.
He wanted to bring him down.
no,
Top
I
five.
didn't. I didn't.
Top
I
five.
literally,
Agenda.
I didn't.
He
You got an
definitely
agenda.
deserves to be in the top 5. Definitely.
Well,
That's for sure.
He finished fourth. Right. So we'll move on into third now. And in third place with 69 points, he got 6 points more than Thiago Alcantara. That is the man we were talking about in the middle of the park, in that 6th role for Man City, and that is Rodri.
Yeah, I don't think there's any debates there.
I'm
I'm
mad at
honest.
it. I
Nah.
think I had him 4th.
Yeah,
Mad at it.
Rodri,
I had him
Santi
third.
had him in at 3rd. Dempsey had him in at 6th. Rizek had him in at 3rd. Gunnar did it. Oh, Gunnar had him in at 5th. I had him in at 4th. Livs had him in at 4th. Cap had him in at 4th. Garni had him in at 3rd. Hussein had him in at 4th. And Ravo had him in at 5th. So he made everyone's list.
Yeah.
Round and round amongst the
I don't
top
think it's a
4s and top
debate.
5s. Yeah.
I think when he first came to the Prem, a lot of guys were doubting him. A lot of the men were doubting him anyway.
And the second year he popped off.
The way he's bossing midfield now, and the way he sniffs out danger, his eye for a pass, like he's unpressable.
But Gab,
cannot get near him.
Do you know what it is? When he was at Atletico, he had these capabilities and he had this ability. I feel like in Man City, he was coached properly.
Yeah,
That's
agreed.
basically
And
what
he
it
raised
is.
his game to another level now.
Absolutely, having good players around him
Agreed.
who are on the same wavelengths. That's basically what it is. There's nothing more to talk about, to be honest. He deserves
With
the
Rodri, it's like with me, I think that it's always a big. It's like when Chelsea was going through that stage where we had dominance. We haven't had it as long as Man City, but when we had the dominance, we signed them players that weren't necessarily the greatest of players in the world at the time from the other clubs, but mold them into the top quality players. Now Rodri is arguably the best DM in the world,
For me, it's a no-brainer.
and
It's a
we
no-brainer.
I think it's arguable.
no, but like
I think
well,
I think he is.
if he's arguably the best DM in the world, that shows you credit because
Yeah.
if before he signed to Man City,
No one
we
would
wouldn't have
say
made him in top 10 list
They were-
and anywhere.
I didn't know.
They were calling him a flop. Do you remember?
But this is why this is why it's important for us to also know the abilities of players. And sometimes players don't work at certain clubs. Certain clubs ain't good enough to bring out the talents of certain individuals. Clearly, Rodri had the talent. Man City, Pep had the talent ID to get Rodri in
It's
at Man
also
City.
about time and giving a player a season to adjust to the Premier League. That's
Yeah.
basically what it is.
You think he weren't that good in the first season?
No, I felt like he had the ability, but I felt like he needs to adapt to the
You
speed
know
of
what
the
it
Premier
is?
League.
A
That's
lot of
basically
people
what it is.
to play
didn't
Pep
watch
ball,
him
innit?
as often as people should have, and they just thought he was a safe player. He just plays sideways passes. But the way he breaks lines is unbelievable.
Yeah, very good.
Wicked player, man.
Very
And can score goals. And can hit a ball.
Screamer on him.
I wish Jorginho could hit a ball. Do you know what I mean? But
He ain't got
yeah.
no power in his legs. Jorginho.
well, he made 3rd in the list. Well, this top 3 is a Man City list,
Which is shocking.
which
No
I think
surprise.
is
Yeah, no
no
surprise.
surprise to be honest.
Why?
This is the quality of the level. that
Why?
we have. I know you had your Thiago at number
wait,
1.
but wait, let's be
But
honest.
this is a
okay,
City.
cool. Okay, let's be honest. Okay, City, what did they do? They won the league this year. They won in the last 15 minutes of the
They've
league.
won 4 out of the last
Okay, but-
5 years.
It's the manner in which they're winning. The
It's not the
football
matter.
they're
They
playing.
won 4 in the last 5 years. We've won 1. We've won 1. But listen, what I'm saying is, I based it mainly off last year and who else? All right, cool. And a bit more than that. But if we're being serious, last year, the only thing they fucking done was win the league in the last 15 minutes. They were 2-0 down to who?
Okay,
Aston
but
Villa.
how many points have they put up?
We
Wait, did they
wait,
not win
the Liverpool midfield
Carabao
won the
Cup as
FA
well?
Cup. They won, I think, 5 league cups.
City never won. They won both.
We won Carabao Cup. We won FA Cup.
Both are
We,
penalties.
it doesn't matter. We won it, bro.
Both
My
penalties.
team lifted the trophy. Don't talk to me about
But
that.
we need to talk about how the contribution of the players to your team. Your team has
My
been
midfield contributed. We will go for the quadruple.
Your team is.
Do you know what I noticed?
Is all to do with Mo Salah, Sadio Mane.
Okay, let me tell you something.
No,
Let
not
me-
John
Let
Henderson.
me tell you something. Let
Van
me tell you
Dijk,
something.
Trent, and Robbo.
Let me
No
tell
one
you
really
something.
talks
You're
about your
forgetting
midfield.
the road runners.
Let me
Thiagos.
tell
Don't
you
forget the
something.
road
And
runners.
Yeah, the road runners.
Okay,
But
let me
their
tell you
roles
one-
are not.
let me tell
they're
you
not. Their
one
roles
thing.
aren't
Let me
excellent.
tell you
They're not
one thing.
exquisite.
Go on.
They're not.
If we had
nice.
won the quadruple, would this list have changed? No. So there's
No.
Liverpool hate. There's Liverpool hate.
No, it's
Clearly,
not Liverpool
that's
hate.
clearly Liverpool hate.
No,
then.
it's not because your midfielders.
How many other teams
don't have
in
to be
this
your
world
midfielders.
have got the quadruple?
It's
doesn't
about-
matter,
It's
it's about
about,
your
no, but it's
midfielders.
about what influence you have on the titles. You
Yeah,
win.
They
it's your
can't do it.
midfielders.
My midfield can. That's what it is.
No, it's not that.
But
Because
are you winning those titles because of your midfielders or because of Salah?
Of
and
course,
Trent and
bro.
fucking
Of
Anderson
course. Of
and
course.
No, you're mad.
Your midfield wins you
Nah.
titles.
This is why you're
It wins you multiple titles.
and this is why you're knackered this season because Sadio Mane is not there no
Yeah.
more, and you don't look the same.
We've got Darwin. It's all right, bro. We've got a good replacement.
Yeah, all right.
We're good enough.
Abdul
I'm
Razak,
saying,
let me tell you something.
only great teams go for the quadruple. See, you can't win a fucking Champions League, and you're telling me they're
How
top
did that
three.
end?
yeah, it's
Huh?
mad.
How did that end?
I said go for it. I don't say win it. We went for it. But and if we had got it, you would have to put
You're
Thiago
sounding like
first.
an Arsenal
You
fan
would
right
have
now.
to put
That's how we
Thiago
talk.
first,
You were-
and you would have to put Thiago first.
You were
That's how
2
we talk.
points.
It's
You were,
all
you
ifs,
were,
buts,
you were
and
2
maybes, bro.
points and 1 win away from a quadruple. That's what it
2
was.
points, bro. We were 15 minutes away from a treble.
Yeah,
first of all.
15 minutes
And
and,
don't-
a
And we lost the
final.
Champions League. And we got dominated.
Abdul
Champions
Razak,
League.
It's not about your midfielders.
Don't forget
It's
as
not
well.
about-
It
Now,
is.
I think it was January or February. Man City were 12 points clear of you.
Okay, and what
It
happened?
doesn't matter. It
What
balances
happened?
out. It
Respect
balances
on the
out.
gas,
But it's
respect on the
different.
gas,
It's
that's what
different.
fucking
It doesn't
happened.
matter. This is midfielders. It's about the quality of the midfielders. And I haven't even introduced the two names yet. But I think we kind of know who it is. In second place with 71 points is Bernardo Silva.
Yeah.
And in
Spot on.
first place with 96 points. The only reason why he never had a clean sweep, every single person
man, I'm guessing.
had him in at first.
It's him.
This man had Kevin De Bruyne
Where?
at 5th.
That's the level I think he
And
played
you're
to
telling us
last
about
year.
you lot with the agendas.
Wait,
and
I
you
will
had
t-
Kevin De Bruyne
I'll
at
tell you
5th.
one thing.
That's an agenda.
Was Kevin De Bruyne better than any of the City midfielders last year? No. Was he better than Thiago last year? No. Kevin De Bruyne had a fucking stinky year.
That's mental.
Out of all the 5 years, Kevin De Bruyne
crazy.
was there.
He might have had a slow
that
start.
last year was his worst year.
It
The
might have
only
been.
reason why he won PFA
he
Player of
was-
the Year is because he scored 4 goals against Wolves and he picked up.
He was
Do you
inconsistent.
know what week that was
Second
in?
half of the season,
That was
he
in May.
dominated.
That
Second
was
half
in
of the
May.
season, he
It was
dominated.
in May where he got 4 goals. That's
No,
when people started talking
I
about
do
it.
No,
that.
but not just him.
Because
Nah.
as soon as he scored 4 goals, I said on my burner account on Twitter, oh my God, they're going to give him Player of the Year. I can go back and be out. I said, oh my God, they're going to give him Player
There
of the
was
Year.
patches.
That's bullshit.
There was patches of the season,
Come on
especially in
now.
the start of the season where he didn't
Giving
start well.
him-
But the second part of the season, he was brilliant.
Okay, so are we
was
giving?
brilliant.
Okay, cool. So by your logic, why did Mo Salah not win it? Because he had an excellent first half of the year. Yes or no? He had an excellent first half of the season. So why did he not win it? And he got top goal scorer and top assist.
when it
He got the
comes
top
to
goal
awards-
scorer, he got
when
golden
it
boot and
comes to awards,
playmaker.
the
So why
second
did he
half of
not?
the season that's remembered.
Huh?
That's the way it is.
But you just said De Bruyne had an excellent second half. Mo Salah had a better first half.
Way better first half.
So way better.
It is-
He had
it is-
16
it
goals
is
by
within our
December.
opinion.
Okay,
It
can
is
I was making an argument.
Okay,
but it's the
can
way
I
it
ask you
goes.
something?
So why, by
Okay,
that logic,
but you
is
can't
he
just
not
be-
getting
can't-
Player of the Year?
because
Do
it
you
just-
win
it
the
can't just be
league?
1 year. It
Do you-
can't be one. We've got to remember, some people on this
I
list.
understand.
Do you win the league?
Okay, cool.
Okay, one second. Do you win the
So,
league
by that-
on the first part of the season or the second part of the season?
You win the league out of the whole season. It's not 1 or 2.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so that's
Yeah,
that's
it's the whole
clear.
season.
But where's
You're
the most
Bruyne had
important
a
part?
he
Where's
had
the
a-
most important part?
He had a fucking stinky last half of the
It's
season.
not
First
how
half
you
of the season.
start.
But this is-
It's how you finish.
start. It's how you finish.
Exactly.
Bro, but this is an agenda.
We finished excellently. It is an agenda. You're
And
right.
De Bruyne did.
It's an agenda
So
for
you,
De
you don't
Bruyne.
believe what you're saying right now.
No, it's an agenda on De Bruyne.
I'm talking about you having him at 5th.
Huh?
You having him at 5th.
Bro, I've got Fabinho. Fabinho had a better year. Rodri had a better year. Bernardo Silva had a better
So
year.
you're going on a year.
Huh?
You're going on just a
Do you
year.
think
Roughly,
do you
yes.
think
I'm
they're
going on
better
base of the year. Huh?
So if you're going on base of the year,
I
how's
don't-
Henderson in your list?
Huh?
How's Henderson in your list?
I don't know. I told you, there's a bit of bias. Okay, cool. But when I got to top 5, I didn't
That
think
is
about bias.
100% a bias. For you to have Bernardo Silva and Rodri
Bernardo Silva
and
second.
Fabinho above him is mental.
He didn't. None of them. All of them had better years than him. That's so.
I think
How it's
Bernardo
not evident
Silva
is
probably had the
ridiculous.
best year out of the lot.
Huh?
Possibly, yeah. As an overall, yeah.
Overall,
But that's 1 year though.
Yeah, Bernardo had
A
a
lot
better
of people
year.
have based this on
Yeah,
a
but
couple of
Rodri
years.
had a better year. Rodri was saving them in how many games?
Yeah.
He saved them against Arsenal. He saved them against Aston Villa.
Screamo.
What the hell?
Yeah.
But Kevin De Bruyne wasn't their most important midfielder last year, bro. So that's why I'm putting him
He's
first.
the best player
I
in
feel
the
like
league.
He's not best. He's not the best player in the league.
That's what-
I don't
Oh,
think
no,
he's the
I
best
take
player.
it
Okay,
back.
we done
He's
defenders.
not even the best player in the league. I take it back. But he's one of the best players. In the league.
Okay,
Okay,
But
defenders.
based on-
Okay, defenders list.
said to me.
Do you think Virgil van Dijk should have had a clean sweep from last year?
From last
If it was
year.
just last year's performance?
Just last
Bro,
year,
be
of
consistent.
course.
Be consistent.
Of
Oh,
course.
see, this is mad.
We went to 3 finals. We won 2. We took the Premier League to the last 15 minutes. Not even the last day. To the last 15
No, it's
minutes.
not about the
I don't
it's not
care.
about your
It's
team.
contribution.
Performance.
His performance. Do you think he
individual
deserved to have a clean sweep
Me.
on 1 year's performance?
Me,
on his
Vizak.
last year's performance.
I do.
Okay, that's mad.
I do. That's
This is
why.
why.
That's why I
This is
think.
why this guy's mental.
Yeah, but this is ridiculous.
How's that
It's
ridiculous?
It's ridiculous.
What you're saying for
You
the
know,
De Bruyne
you
stuff,
know,
you're not
you know,
saying it for-
Kanate was arguably your best defender in the Champions League.
Final.
No, in the run of coming up to the
Right,
final.
he was.
Okay, cool.
He was
so if
sensational.
someone has a better
And
game,
we had Joel Matip saying
Matip in the
people
league,
were Matip in the
fucking
league
hell.
was better than
so
Virgil
if
van
someone
Dijk.
has a better game, does that automatically mean the other person had a shit game?
No, it's not that.
It doesn't.
But
No,
Matip
so
had a
that
better season.
argument means nothing.
So, but I'm asking you off of the 1 year. he knows. I don't even
Go
need to say it. I don't even need to say it. You know already. But listen, that was our top 10 centre backs, top 10 midfielders list. Hope you enjoyed the show.
That's mental.
It was mental. Obviously, a couple of howlers in there from a couple people, mainly Ravo from early on in the
he had a
he had a bit of a stinker.
Ravo, Dempsey.
Yeah, Ravo.
Salah.
Dempsey.
Yeah.
Dempsey, next week you're here, mate. Because that was crazy. But, yeah. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe, all that at the start of the show. Make sure you keep on commenting. Support the show. We need to
dry.
grow. So, yeah. Till next week. Peace.
See you later.